So just to recap, remember that ultra-rare Porsche 928 GT manual I bought off old Tom, who at 92 years of age and after 30 years of ownership decided, along with his beloved Lotus Elite, the car needed a new home. But having never washed the car whilst in his ownership, this brought on a whole list of new challenges. Firstly, cleaning off the humongous amount of mud revealing all kinds of corrosion at the bottoms of the doors and the wings. But the first challenge was the interior, and after hours of scrubbing away, years of filth and dirt, amazingly, it revealed a near brand new interior. And after weeks of procrastination, and last week's visit to the NEC Classic Restoration Show, we're now finally going to get this restoration of this 90s supercar on the way. So, as always, let's get stuck in. Now I'm first going to start with the alloy wheels, which will need a total refurb. So let's get them off to reveal the horrors of that mud that lies beneath. Like I've explained before, cleaning the car within an inch of its life will reveal any problems, and of course reveal the true condition of the car, as well as highlighting the full extent of the job ahead. Just look at all those years of caked up mud. This is going to be some fun to get off. Well, it's also revealed 4 brand new tyres are being fitted. You know, the service history shows Tom serviced the car well, replacing anything that needed replacing along the way, with no expense spared. But anyway, we'll talk more about its maintenance later. Because looking at the service book, there's a few things I'm just not happy about. And then it was off to the acid bath, off with the tyres, and on closer inspection you can actually see the damage from years of neglect and banging up curbs. But this couldn't be straightforward, could it? Because on removal of the tyres I came across these valves, designed to show low pressure warnings up on the dash. These couldn't be sunk in acid, because at £80 a piece and 2 to each wheel and needing a special computer to reset them up again. Nah, so my only option was to reduce the depth of the acid so that only the faces of the wheel that was visible could be dunked, and I'd just have to strip the rest by hand. So now the wheels are in the acid soaking away, I'm going to mash this up. I'm going to get some snow foam, the jet wash. I'm going to properly blast off all the excess mud underneath. Well, I had a few little messages off people saying, you've ruined the paint job. Why didn't you use snow foam at the side of the car? Well, you can't see what I can see. Got some terrible corrosion here. There's corrosion here, at the bottom of the door. I mean, this is literally just flaking off, as you can see. So I probably would have been better taking it off with 80 grit, to be honest. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to blast all the excess mud from underneath the wheel arch, get all that nice and clean. I'll throw a load of snow foam, let it soak in under there as well. Get it all spotless, so when the wheels come back, they can go back on and I can move it around and start sorting out this paint. And look at this. I mean, it's right around where the wing mirror is, so all that's going to have to come off. Door panel off, mirror out, all the seals out. I'll probably be able to mask the glass up. I'll probably paint all the way up to here. I'll take the rear windows out. I'll take all the seals off and I'll just make a proper job of it. I'll probably have to drop this bumper as well so I can get underneath and get, you see all this corrosion here, get it nice and clean, all cleaned out properly and prepped properly, ready for the paint. So the whole side of the car needs to be painted really, because I mean there's just no other way of doing it. Everything's going to have to come off, and it's probably a good thing because, like I said, red is a terrible colour for fading in the sun or any kind of light. So over the years, you know, this will be a different colour from that, depending where the sun's being hitting it. I know we're not the hottest country in the world, but trust me, it does happen, especially if it's never been washed for 30 years or protected in any way. Yeah. Remember this bit of damage here? It's actually, it's a pretty bad bash that. And because it's aluminium, it becomes brittle. So if I try to knock that out, it could be a little bit tricky. I think I'm going to leave it to the experts. get some dent master out and just let them put the lasers on and get it super straight before I prep it and paint it. Anyway, got my work cut out. And when it looks like the acid's done its work, it's carefully lifted out. And then all the loose paint is jet washed away. Look at that. How satisfying is that? Then make sure all your rims are clean so the tyre can make a proper seal when fitted. So get it ready for the paint, nice and clean. Get rid of any corrosion. And this is where all the hard work begins. 1 down, 3 to go. Now this is where you really have to spend the time. Take an hour or so on each wheel just to make sure it's absolutely spotless and ready for primer. It just takes as long as it takes. If you cut corners, then every imperfection will show up as soon as the paint hits it. And I always like to give it just a light dust of weld-through primer. I've sworn by this for years. Not too much, just a slight mist. It just bites into the metal and gives a nice base before the 2-pack high-build primer is applied. Then it's back into the booth where the primer is then applied. So after more hours of flattening and prepping the primer, when I'm finally happy, the excess dust is blown off, the wheels are panel wiped, and after fresh paper is laying down on the table, I commence spraying the colour along with 2 good coats of 2-pack clear coat lacquer. So this process has to be completed and dried completely before I can then turn the wheel over without the lacquer sticking to the paper. So I can then repeat the process on the front visible side of the wheel, where the finish has to be as perfect as I can get it. So with the bottoms and insides of the wheels painted in their silver livery and lacquered, whilst left to dry, I have a chat with Simon about his latest acquisition, a 1989 Lotus Esprit, made famous by Richard Gere and Julia Roberts in the movie Pretty Woman.
I love the red leather interior as well.
I think Si's done really well because these old Lotuses are really starting to appreciate, and this is a lovely clean example.
Wow. So where'd you get this from, Si?
Southampton.
You drive it back yourself?
I'll come back on a truck.
So just like with my Lotus and most British cars, there's always plenty to do.
So that's what you've just seen painted over there, your rocker covers?
It's a nightmare, yeah. It needs all new gaskets and all sorts now.
Tell you what, the belts look okay, don't they? This looks like a new engine, this.
You can have a new engine at 5,000 miles, yeah.
What, from Lotus?
I think so, yeah. It didn't even exist, yeah.
Yeah, this is the Pretty Woman one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And designed with the same glass partition from the engine bay, just like mine was designed to protect the passengers from the fuel tank.
So you think you're Richard Gere in this, yeah?
Fat Richard Gere,
Driving around looking for Julia Roberts.
Yeah, you can be Julia Roberts with me.
This particular model was fitted with the removable glass targa roof and with a rear spoiler on the engine lid.
That's all that about.
What's that?
I'd replace that.
Oh, this?
No, replace that. While it's all off.
Oh, I see what you did.
Do all the little things you can
Look,
replace.
but I'm not getting too involved.
No, but anything, while it's all off,
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
can replace, just do.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, you can buy it when it's done.
I think that's what you're hoping for, isn't it? You never know, mate. We're looking to get back in there. It should be dry by now.
So with the wheels having had an hour baking in the oven, it's just about time for me to get back and finish the job. So it's back into the oven for the final stage of the paint. A light coat followed by 2 heavy coats of clear coat 2-pack lacquer. Voila! I'm going to come back the next day to pick up the wheels. I can't help but take a sneak peek at Simon's Lotus. What a transformation. I'm back at base. Well, let's hope them sensors have survived. Otherwise I'm into a whole load of money. Then give the lacquer a nice flat with some 3M's 2000 grit. And then finish off with some Maguire's 83. Give it a nice light buff and it makes all the difference. As you can see, it just finishes the job off nicely. And then to those emblems. Mask around the emblem, spray it all black, take the masking off, scrape it off with a razor, mask the emblem up itself, then prime, then paint, then take the masking paper off, then a few coats of lacquer, just lacquer the whole lot. This is one of those jobs that when you're getting your wheels done, maybe leave it to the experts. It's not difficult, well it is difficult, and more than that, it's fiddly and very time consuming. This whole process has probably taken about 3 days and all. So, when a paint shop says to you, it'll be 600 quid, me wheels, whatever, maybe it's best just leave it to them. It's just when you do it yourself, you can see where all the money goes and all the work that actually goes into it. So just like the chrome, another job that's well worth the money if done right. Anyway, I'll leave you with that thought. Okay guys, well I think it's getting to that time again, isn't it? And the sun's coming out, the weather's getting warmer, and it's almost time for them classic car shows. I'd just like to highlight the Great British Motor Show, which are kicking off a brand new season of shows throughout the summer all over the UK, starting off at Ripon Racecourse on May the 7th. And one of the new venues which is being added this year is the Manchester Classic, a performance show on June the 11th. And if you were thinking of something for Father's Day, how about this? The Masters of Motoring show kicks off at Bolworth House near Bath on that Sunday, June the 18th. That gives us all something to think about. But for full details, including discounts on tickets, visit their website at greatbritishmotorshows.com or click on the link in the description notes below. And I look forward to seeing you there. Next, onto those filthy wheel arches. So out comes the snow foam, out comes the jet wash, and let's get stuck in. This is ridiculous. I was trying to work out where this hissing sound was coming from, and I found it. There's a tiny pinhole in the side of the shock absorber, excreting all the gas and all the fluid. Oh well, another £500 bites of dust, or £1,000 if you're going to replace both of them, which you know I should. But with all said and done, that's clean enough for me. Ready for the nice clean wheels. With that done, I move over to the engine bay, which could also benefit from a little clean and a bit of TLC. But what's niggling me is the condition of the cam belt. You can get a rough idea by looking down the peepholes or taking off the covers, which is a 2-hour job. But the only real guarantee is confirmation from a certified garage the job's being done. Let's take a look at this service history. There's something that concerns me here. Now, if you look at this, according to this, the car's basically been serviced at a Porsche main dealers or an independent, recognised Porsche specialist throughout the country. You see here you've got Merlin Porsche Nottingham, you've got Man Island, Porsche Road Range Liverpool, quite a few in there, and the car's basically been serviced every 4,000 miles on the button. Now, the thing that really concerns me is, according to this, the last time the cam belt was done, and you've got to take into consideration the car's done like 114,000 miles, was at 44,000 miles. It's a bit worrying, that. I mean,
They're meant to be done every 30,000 miles or every 4 years, whichever comes first. And according to this, it hasn't. But surely no cam belt can last that long. So I'm going to make a few calls because if it hasn't been done, I'm not even going to start the car. I mean, it goes without saying. But also the question I want to ask is, and I'm not pointing any fingers here, but if a 92-year-old guy is getting his car serviced at Porsche or a Porsche specialist every 4,000 miles, then why haven't any of them over the years suggested that he get a cam belt change? Because it's one of the most important things you have to do on the maintenance of these 98s. So, beggars belief. Let me make a few calls and let's see what I can find out. Because I'm just not happy with this. Okay, so I made a couple of calls. I've been able to shed a little bit of light on this Porsche history. I got in touch with Porsche UK in Chester, and they serviced the car back in 2006, and at that time they've got it on the records that they did a cam belt change as well. So that was at 75,300 miles, which is a little bit better, but it's still, what, 40,000 miles ago and 17 years ago. I think it's long overdue. I mean, I'm hoping that I'll get in touch with one of these places and they'll say, no, we actually got records of a cam belt change. And I've looked down the peephole on the front of the cam cover, and everything looks fine, but you can't really tell much from that. Really, you have to get everything off. And I mean, the only guarantee really is to have it stamped up in the book and, you know, a clear record that the cam belt's actually being done. Otherwise, I think you're just playing with fire. Now, I've also taken the initiative of calling around 4 different Porsche specialists. Plus, I asked Porsche Chester to get back with me with a price. So let's see if they get back.
And surprise, surprise, none of them seem to want to do the job. It seems it's an awful lot easier to work on 911s. Whatever.
So let's see how we get on. But hopefully, one of these so-called Porsche specialists will step up to the plate and say, give it to us, we'll do it. We'll stamp your book up. You know it's being done. You know you've got peace of mind. And it keeps the squeaky clean Porsche maintenance history, which is always great to keep with a car, especially one as special as this. So let's see how we get on it.
Otherwise, I'll end up doing the job myself, which is what usually happens. But on a more positive note, at least I've made a start, got a few of the smaller jobs out the way, and I'm much clearer about the task ahead. Thank you for watching this episode of Classic Obsession. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and join me next time when I'm back on the rolls.